Now, when you think of your traditional wedding reception, well, not unreasonably you think of a bride and a groom. That seems fairly basic. But even that apparently ain't necessarily so. We've been speaking to one lady who decided to go it alone.
Many women dream of the perfect wedding, the ornate dress, the big reception, and the one day where the bride is the centre of attention. And Patricia Crowley was no exception. But the only thing missing from her big day was the groom. You see, Patricia, being a truly independent woman, decided she would arrange her own wedding party as a gift to herself for her 40th birthday.
As a single girl, you're constantly going to engagement parties, baptisms, communions, showers, bachelorette or hen parties, that you're always giving, only because you're not coupled. So I thought, okay, well, I'm not married, there's no prospects coming down the line. I'm turning 40 and I want to have the big dress and the big venue and the big party. So that's sort of where the idea came from. It's not a women's lib thing at all. That's not what it is. It's more about just having the event and celebrating the idea that was planted in you as a young child. I always wanted to go to a costume party, and I've actually studied history of costume several times. So I made it time travel as a part of the theme, and so the interpretation of time travel is really left loose.
So what does Patricia think other people will make of her decision to have her wedding without a marriage?
So from the press that I've received so far, again, I'm getting very positive feedback from men and women, and they think it's a bit strange. Like, my family thought it was a bit strange, but once they understand, once I've explained to them, they totally get it, and they think it's great, and they think it's very encouraging that someone was brave enough to do this and actually make the statement. We're brought up in society as women, you know, for many years, the whole Cinderella thing, where we're supposed to be saved by a man, and if that man doesn't come along, then oh my goodness. I'd approached Brown Thomas if they would allow me to have a gift registry, sort of like a wedding to myself. It was a bit strange to them, but they allowed me to do it, and maybe it'll catch on, I don't know.
As we all know, planning a wedding is logistically and financially challenging. Factor into this the absence of a groom for moral and financial support, and Patricia was left with quite a task. A lavish costume party in a grand venue and even an exotic honeymoon doesn't come cheap. So how did she manage?
When I was looking at the budget, I was hoping that it would be as much like a wedding as possible. But I didn't have as many bells and whistles as a wedding, because I mean that's usually two people and families involved in a budget for a wedding. So I trimmed it back as much as possible. But I did invest in the dress and the venue, and I also went on a honeymoon, so to speak. That was really my vacation of the year, and so that was also costly. But again, to me, it was all about joie de vivre.
Anyone who knows Patricia will know of her extraordinary attention to detail, and her meticulous planning for this event was no different to the large-scale corporate events she organises in her professional career.
Yeah, I created a website for the event because I had people coming from different places. So, and to me it was just a part of the fun of it, and I thought it was great from an organizational point of view. So I actually went to a wedding website template. So it had it in music, it had the gift registry, it had RSVP, it had everything like that. So I did it like a wedding. And it's funny because I keep seeing people are still going to the website today, and it's quite fun. So
the setting for Patricia's costume party was the lavish Tankardstown house in Slane, County Meath, and friends and relatives from around the world had travelled to be there with her on her big day.
I thought it would be nice to get outside of Dublin, and because I had made the concept as a costume party, that it should be in a sort of an older country house.
And on the night, Patricia's planning paid off.
I came down like a princess, like Cinderella, like as all girls dream of. And I came down in my big 18th century costume with a little fan, and I came down as if I was Marie Antoinette. And all the people were downstairs in their costumes, so it was all very, very grand and exciting. The rest of the reception, as you call it, was sort of like a wedding. It was formal, but not as regimented as a wedding. There was food, it was catered, there were speeches by my closest friends, there was entertainment. And there was a wedding cake style, a very simple wedding cake that people sang happy birthday to me with.
A big race down in Dallas. Don't you wish you was there? You could bet your bottom dollar on that iron playing there. Come on, bet on Steve Ball and you might win. Bet on Steve Ball and you might win.
In the true sense of my fashion background, you must dress up and do it large. And I basically wanted a wedding, just not a marriage, because life is too short. Well, I'm just going to mention some people I wish were here. Well, my parents and my extended family, through my friends. I just want to say thank you for sharing your families with me, and thank you to my family for being so lovely to me.
At the end of that part, the wedding, the formal part, we went into another part of Tankardstown House, which is sort of like the party room, and so there was DJing all night. That went on to wee hours of the morning, so that was really fun.
Patricia, like so many women, hasn't met her Mr. Right just yet. So why does she think this is?
I don't think I've met Mr. Right yet. Like maybe I have, maybe it's a friend, or maybe, it just hasn't happened, that chemistry. Maybe I've been focused too much on my career. Whatever the reasons or excuses are, I haven't met him. I haven't closed the deal, so to speak. If I ever do get married, then there's less pressure on the groom, so to speak, to have this grand event. So